Welcome to this explainer. Today, we're going to explore this absolutely fascinating concept about how you and I actually perceive the world around us. Okay, let's dive into this by doing a super simple mental exercise. I want you to just imagine for a second that you're standing outside, right beneath a simple, everyday tree. You're looking up at the branches, the leaves, the trunk. You see a tree, right?
But here's the really profound question. What exactly are you seeing? Now, I know, it sounds like a trick question, doesn't it? But the answer actually completely depends on how you're approaching reality in that specific moment. You see, as human beings, we don't just encounter reality in one single absolute way. Depending on our mindset, our goals, or our context, that single tree can literally become entirely different things. We actually construct our understanding of the world through a few different modes. And we're going to use this single physical tree as our anchor today. By looking at this exact same tree, we're going to see how we construct our understanding of reality through 4 distinct modes, or lenses. Each lens offers a completely different perspective, and yet they're all looking at the exact same object. So let's jump into our first lens and see how this builds our understanding.
Section 1. Culture and Meaning, the Shared Reality.
Imagine for a second that this isn't just any tree, but a massive, ancient banyan tree right in the center of a village. To that specific community, it's sacred, you know? It's where stories are told and where rituals happen. This perfectly represents what we call intersubjective reality, which is basically meaning that is created and shared collectively. While the physical tree itself, like the bark, the roots, is one tangible thing, its meaning is this incredibly powerful shared human creation. I mean, if you aren't part of that culture, you might just walk right past it looking for a Wi-Fi signal. But to the community, it's a living, breathing landmark. So, when we look through the lens of culture, we are really always asking this one specific question. What does this tree mean to us? Culture acts as this amazing transformative force. It takes a perfectly ordinary physical object out there in nature and just elevates it. It turns it into a symbol, an anchor for collective memory, or even something divine and sacred.
To wrap up our first lens, the primary function of culture is to literally inject our physical reality with meaning. Without this cultural lens, the world is really just a collection of random objects. But culture? Culture weaves those objects into a story that we all share.
Section 2. Science and Explanation, the Objective Model. Okay, let's completely shift gears here and bring in a scientist. All those cultural stories, tossed aside. Under this scientific lens, the tree becomes an objective phenomenon, knowledge that can be observed, measured, tested, and verified. The scientist is out there measuring its height to the absolute millimeter, examining its cellular DNA, calculating its exact rate of photosynthesis. The driving questions have completely changed now. We aren't asking what it means anymore, we're demanding to know exactly what it is and how it mechanically works within its ecosystem.
Now, what's really interesting about this slide is there's a pretty humbling truth here. The scientific description, no matter how detailed it is, no matter how many gigabytes of genetic data we manage to collect, it's still just a model. Knowing the exact molecular structure of the tree's bark is absolutely incredible, but it is not the same thing as the direct, tangible experience of actually touching the tree. It's a highly accurate representation for sure, but it's a representation nonetheless. So just to summarize our second lens, while culture gives us meaning, science gives reality its objective explanation. It tells us the how and the what of the physical universe with just unbelievable precision.
Section 3. Mathematics and Structure, the Power of Abstraction.
Now let's strip away the physical qualities entirely. We don't care about the stories and we don't even care about the DNA or the physical leaves. We are looking at pure abstraction. We look at the tree and say, okay, there is one tree. But really think about that for a second. The physical tree itself is not the number one. The number one is a total abstraction created by the human mind. Yet by making this wild leap from a physical object to an abstract concept, we unlock something incredible. Because once we have one tree, we can conceptualize 2 trees, and then we can calculate area, geometry, and literally build vast structural systems.
Mathematics basically asks, what can be abstracted from this experience? By deliberately removing all the physical, particular details of the tree, the color of the leaves, the roughness of the bark, mathematics reveals the pure, invisible patterns and relationships that actually govern the universe.
And that is the core takeaway for our third lens. Mathematics reveals the underlying structure of reality. It gives us the invisible scaffolding upon which everything else in the universe is built.
Section 4. Spirituality and Awareness, the Direct Encounter.
All right, we've moved incredibly fast through meaning, explanation, and structure. Now, let's just take a breath. Stop the measuring. Put down the stories. I want you to simply sit quietly beneath the tree and just observe. You start to notice simple, quiet truths. The subtle movement of the leaves, the feeling of the wind against the bark, its deep rootedness in the earth, its undeniable silent presence. Suddenly, the tree is no longer this biological object over there for you to study. You recognize that you both depend on the exact same air, the same sun, the same earth. You're part of the exact same living world. And this leads us to a really major narrative pivot, because suddenly the investigation is no longer about the tree at all. The question changes from what do I know about the tree to what is it like to simply encounter the tree? And finally, who is the one experiencing it? The entire focus is shifted completely away from the external object and directly towards your own internal awareness.
This is the subjective, spiritual construction of reality. It doesn't look outward, it looks inward. Spirituality turns our attention toward awareness itself, focusing purely on what it actually means to be alive and conscious in the presence of the world.
Section 5. Synthesis. One tree, four windows. Let's zoom back out and look at the big picture here. So the crucial point is the physical tree itself hasn't changed one single bit during this entire explainer. Only our approach has. Culture focuses on meaning, science on explanation, mathematics on structure, and spirituality on awareness. These aren't four competing, contradictory realities fighting for dominance. No, they are four beautiful, totally necessary windows looking into the exact same single reality.
Which brings us to the climax of this explainer in a much deeper distinction about human life in general, knowing versus being. Science, culture, and mathematics are all extraordinary tools that help us construct knowledge. They help us map reality so we can navigate it. But the spiritual, subjective approach, that asks us to go beyond our maps, to simply be, and to directly encounter reality exactly as it is, without any of the labels.
You see, true wisdom isn't found by just picking one of these lenses and ignoring the rest. True wisdom begins when we learn to balance both of these movements in our daily lives. We absolutely must construct maps, scientific, cultural, mathematical, to understand and survive in our reality. But we've also got to remember to regularly put those maps down, return to our direct experience, and truly encounter the reality around us.
I'll leave you with this really powerful thought. The map is not the territory. It's a reminder to always recognize the profound difference between the knowledge you construct in your head and the vibrant, living reality you actually experience. So, the next time you walk past a tree, ask yourself, which window are you looking through? Thanks for joining me on this explainer, and keep exploring.